So we've got our ring now, and I've been around the whole ring with the sandpaper, with the wet and dry paper, about 400, just to clean that up really, get it ready for taking the claws. So we want to bring up 4 claws coming off the ring here, but we'll then take that loop and then the stone will sit inside that. So what I've got here is some 2mm wire, and again like before, just give that a wee clean before we try the trickiest bit. Okay, so obviously holding 4 pins onto that ring and soldering them is going to be very difficult. So what I'm going to do is make the 4 pins in 2 goes. So I'm going to just take this 2mm wire. That might seem a little bit wasteful, but it's actually quite a difficult setting. So this is why I'm going to do it this way. Okay, I've got one there. I'm just going to cut this through. So what I've got here is a loop that then I'm going to solder onto the ring here. Okay, claws coming out at a little bit more of an angle. Bring those round a little bit. So that sits on there like so. And to get a nice snug fit to the ring, I'm going to use my round needle file. Okay, and that should now fit neatly on top, like so. So that will give us 2 of the claws. I need to make another one of these. Again, clean up the silver. Take my pliers. Go after something roughly same. Together, and then again with the file. Okay, so now we've got our 2 loops that we can solder on. Okay, and now we're going to mount those all up to solder them, and this is definitely the tricky bit. So I'm going to put this, hold these in these clamps. Okay, so it's worth taking a little bit of time here to get these more nicely positioned. Okay, take my pieces of solder and pop those between the temperature. I'm using a medium solder so that the first joins that I made on the ring don't start to come apart as this solder flows. And then in the adjusting I can use this titanium needle to tweak and move things while I'm soldering. Okay, I'm using a slightly larger torch here because the thermal mass now of all the different parts, so the ring and the uprights and these clamps that I'm using, are taking a lot of heat out of the silver. So I'm using a slightly larger torch head to get the temperature up on all the components, because I need to heat the whole entire area to get the solder to flow. I always find that the medium solder never flows quite as well as the hard or easy. I'm just carefully bringing the whole thing up to temperature. There we go. I think we've got that all nicely soldered through. So if I use these tweezers and careful not to touch anything because it's obviously incredibly hot still, we can then just see that the solder has flowed into all of those joints nicely, and then that can go into the pickle now to be cleaned up. Now the ring's now been in the pickle for a few minutes, not very long, and you can see that it's all nicely cleaned up and the solder joints all look quite good. So now I'm just taking a needle file, and you can use a needle file like this, and then just clean up with a pendant drill to clean up these joins a little bit. Split apart. To make our claws. So open this out. Like so. So now we're really just trying to tweak and move these uprights. You can see that this one is a bit wonky. set that in there. So obviously these bits are a bit too long and I'll cut those back. We're sort of getting close. We can now sit the stone in, get an idea of what's going on. And you can see the distance between the stone and the ring is far too big at the moment, so I'll just bend these down a little bit further. And then we're also going to make some file marks on the inside of these for then the support ring to sit into.